Good afternoon. Is it afternoon? I think
it is afternoon, yes. It's officially afternoon.
It is. I've lost track of time already, and we're only on game 3. But it is game 3 of the EuroCup. And we're getting set up for Crime City Rollers, who are going to be taking on Helsinki Roller Derby.
This is a matchup we've seen many times over the years, and it's always exciting. Always a close game. I can't wait to see who's going to come out on top. Right, so shall we go in with the rosters?
Yep, we'll run the rosters. So Helsinki. Oh, hold on. Just tech changing.
Okay.
Oh, that's better.
All right, well, let's very quickly run through the rosters. It's like musical chairs with headsets.
I was about to say musical hats. Okay, very quickly then.
Okay.
So I'll run through the Crime City Rollers roster for you, which Crime City Rollers are going to be in the purple. So you've got 0030 Di Mauer, 0347 Hannah 04 Vilda, 07 Nasty, 112 Polytrauma, 12 Lightland, 14 Spino, 17 Ebba Metz, 23 Rhino, 299 Jasmine Sadri, 304 Nagan, 53 Dykestalker, 56 Reggae, 90 Vanilla Slice, and 974 Astrid. So Billy, will you take us through Helsinki, please?
I will take us through. Helsinki Roller Derby are playing in the white today, and we've got 080 Querica, number 10 Sylvester, number 112 Fuchs, number 13 Yamina Lukura, number 20 Predator, number 22 Malu, number 242 Komia, number 286 Nina, number 312 Speedy, number 4 Pale, number 441 Xar, number 51 Margot van der Ginst, number 57 Jokki, number 77 Ruotsalainen, number 80 Mu, and number 88 Varpu Knutila. And that is the lineup for Helsinki.
And by process of elimination, Crime City are playing in the purple. Helsinki will be in the white. Just to introduce, I'm Sven. You might have heard me in the first game this morning, and this is Billy No Skates. And we're going to be your voices for today. Well, for this game.
For this game. And it looks like they're lining up on track, and we're nearly ready to get this game underway. There we go. And we're off. That is Vanilla Slice with the star for Crime City up against Nina for Helsinki. And Vanilla Slice is out and has lead, but Nina is close behind. Both jammers now coming in on a scoring pass. Vanilla calls that jam before any points are scored by Helsinki.
Looks like 2 going up for Crime City.
So the first points of the game to Crime City. I believe if we're looking at the predictors today that Crime City are expected to take the win, but I do believe it could be a very close game.
It always is between these two teams, and as we know as well, anything can happen.
Absolutely.
On these games. But it looks like next we're going to have Reggae lining up for Crime City against Knutila for Helsinki, and it's Knutila that's through straight away, picks up lead. Reggae with the star off in hand. Now half a lap behind Knutila, who's already making progress through the pack. Takes a fall, calls off the jam. So now we're going to get 3 points, Helsinki, 0 Crime City in that one.
So that's a lead change. Drink 'em if you got 'em. I think we could be doing this quite a lot in this game, to be honest. Of course, a major change to the lineup for Crime City today is that star jammer Curly Hoare is not skating at the moment. So of course, every team is more than one single player, but it will be interesting to see what impact that has on Crime City's lines.
And we've now got Ebba Metz for Crime City against Malu for Helsinki. This Malu is out with lead. Ebba Metz working their way through the pack. Now out, but Malu was already in and scoring.
And Ebba Metz through the pack also on a scoring pass. So just waiting to see whether Malu's going to run the jam or call it off.
I think Malu's already seen there that Ebba Metz is through with 4 and also got some got 2 Helsinki blockers in the box at the moment, or at that moment, so has decided to run the time a little bit longer.
So it looks like an 8-8 jam. So no net gain to either side. It's a 1-point game at the moment.
But already some tactical play there in terms of seeing the box had 2 blockers in and just running at that extra 10, 20 seconds to at least release one, have one standing. And now Hannah Pei going to be jamming for Crime City against Speedy for Helsinki.
Speedy taking the inside line for Helsinki, picking up a lead jammer status for Helsinki. Hannah Pei, star in hand, gets through that pack. A little bit of a star stash there as Speedy comes through on a first scoring pass. And Speedy calls the jam as Hannah Pei approaches. Just waiting to see if there are any points. 2 points, 2 points going up for Helsinki. So it's going to be a tight game. We were always expecting a tight game, but this is exceptionally tough.
Little short burst jams, a couple of points here and there. So obviously at the moment still quite a tight scoreline and 2, easily blown scores if the jam can run long enough and one team can get some advantage. But Helsinki seem very good at getting that fast lead so far, and that's given them that control just to be able to run the jam when they want to pick up those points and play that tactical decision. So now we've got Nina for Helsinki with lead. Vanilla Slice for Crime City still tucked in the pack with the star stashed. Now gets through.
So Nina on a first scoring pass, dealing with Dijkstokker as Crime come around to score. Just waiting to see what goes up in the air for those. So no points scored by Crime on that pass. And another 2 to Helsinki. Hit it and quit it is the name of the game today, I think. And that's Reggae again with the star for Crime City.
And Knutila for Helsinki. Helsinki with 1 blocker down at the moment. A bit of a packed start on the S1 jam line, but it's now Crime City with Reggae through for lead.
Varpu Knutila not far behind, already clear of the pack on that initial pass. So both jammers now eligible to score. Reggae blasts through that pack. Still a couple of blockers to get at the top. And takes the points and calls the jam. So 4-point pass there for Crime. Randomly, that's one of the biggest jams we've had so far.
Certainly. Knutila also a little bit of a mishap, dropped the star on the way. So, I mean, I've noticed the teams that already so far in this tournament, they're so quick that as soon as lead is awarded to the opposition, they're very quick to get the star off. And it works in some cases, but sometimes, if you do drop it like that, you've got to go back and retrieve it. And that's obviously what we saw there. So give Crime City that little bit extra time to make some moves on the pack. But now we're back in with Malu for Helsinki. And once again, it's going up against Ebba Metz from Crime City.
One of the things I've noticed with that tactic of kind of taking the star off pretty much as soon as you've noticed the other jammer getting out is that occasionally it's bitten them when the other jammer hasn't gotten out cleanly or legally, and then you lose the ability to call lead. So it's a tactic that can backfire. I've seen it backfire a couple of times actually with these teams.
Ebba Metz, as we're speaking, has the star in hand, gets out the pack. Malu already through, started the scoring pass, sees Ebba Metz making the approach, calls off the jam with a 3-point pickup. So again, stretching the lead, but not by much. 19 plays 14, and we're like 6.5 minutes through this first period. Obviously, these teams last played each other at Anarchy, with Crime City taking the win 263 to Helsinki's 111. I don't know if we're going to see a scoreline with that much of a difference the way this game's played out so far as we go to an official timeout.
So now would be a good time to tell you a little bit about some of our sponsors. We have Sovereign Transport Services sponsoring the track today. A transport company delivering goods throughout the UK and Europe. SovereignTransport.com to see their web warehouse and storage facilities available at their Liverpool depot.
And we've got Speedy now. Picks up lead for Helsinki. Hannah Pay jamming for Crime City. I think we may have had a star pass.
Yes, we have had a star pass.
I think that's Nasty, is it, that's picked up the star?
It was indeed. Nasty had picked up the star, but jam is called before any points can be scored. And lining up on the S1 jam line, we have Malu up against...
It's Vanilla Slice, I think, yep. So 3-on-3 in the pack, both teams down the blocker. And we've got Helsinki picks up lead with Nina. Vanilla Slice has 2 to beat. Gets through past Fuchs. Half a lap behind the pack. And a call off from Nina. Again, another little 3-point pickup by Helsinki. So again, marginal gains, just stretching this lead out. 25 plays 14.
This is one of the lowest scoring games I've seen for some time. We've got almost 9 minutes of play gone, and still only 39 points scored across the board. So we may well see a power jam or something happening that might blow some of these scores a little bit wider open. I don't think we haven't had a 2-minute jam yet, have we?
I don't believe so. Let's see if this is going to be the one to be it. As we have Varpu Knutila for Helsinki against Reggae for Crime City. Box clears now, 4-on-4. And to say that, multiplayer block is being issued. Yep.
Varpu has lead and is engaging on a first scoring pass. We've had a star stash there from Reggae, who is now clear of the pack. Varpu picking up all 4 points, just waiting for the indication to the bench as to when to call that jam, and Varpu Knutila calls it just before Reggae has a chance to put any points up. So we've had a fair few jams now where Crime City have been held scoreless. That would be the 5th jam in a row since Crime have put any points up on the board. So Helsinki pulling ahead very narrowly. I mean, you could say Helsinki are double Crime City's points, but that's still only 15 points. So it's like, that's a good jam. Could blow that right out of the water.
Yeah, considering we saw in the first game was an 18-point jam at one point. Crime City though only had to lead twice, as I said earlier in the period. Helsinki have been doing a really good job of getting the jammer out first and taking that control so they can run the jam for those 3-4 points.
Yeah. And we did see I don't know if you were watching the Paris-Toulouse game, but Lexi Tate racked up 16 points in 60 seconds. So Ebba, with lead for Crime for the first time in several jams, calls it before Helsinki have a chance to put anything up on the board.
But I don't think Crime City got anything out of that either.
They did not, so still 0 points on to Crime City's score at this point. That's Hannah Pay with the star for Crime City.
Nina, I believe, for Helsinki. 4-on-4, all blockers. Liking this kind of scrunch on the jam line, the S1 jam line that we have this weekend. It's Nina again through for lead for Helsinki, still maintaining that tactical dominance of picking up lead in as many jams as they can.
That wall from Crime City pulling together at the front of the pack, really making it difficult for Nina to get through on this occasion. Vilda being the last line of defense at the front there. We've got a couple of Helsinki players coming forward. It's a massive scrum on track at the moment. The pack is bunched quite tightly together, but it wasn't entirely clean. So one blocker heading off to the penalty box for Helsinki. Helsinki have 4 on the board and call the jam before Crime have a chance to score.
We have also got a forearms penalty just been issued there to Vilda. So we're going to go back to another 3-on-3 start in the blockers.
And up on the S1 jam line, we have got Vanilla Slice for Crime City up against Speedy for Helsinki.
Vanilla Slice goes for the inside, but Palais is there just for the bump into the infield. Some good mobile tripod at the front, but Vanilla Slice is through, picks up lead for Crime City. Star pass from Speedy, and that is to Comia.
Vanilla Slice on a first scoring pass, takes the knock to the outside and calls the jam before Comia has a chance to put any points up on the board. So 4 more, no, 2 going up for Crime.
Nope, looks like it's going to be 3, so there was a not on track point to be picked up there. So score, I mean, it is still a lead for Helsinki, but it's still 33 plays 17, so only 16-point difference. And at this point, we're at nearly halfway through the first period as we go to a Crime City timeout. So we can see the teams have gone back to their benches. Benches this weekend are brought to you by Roller Bones. So Bones bearings are the standard by which all other bearings are measured. Bones bearings are skate rated and specifically designed for the application of skating.
So Crime City regrouping, having a rethink and ready to get underway. We're almost halfway through this first period and quite a low-scoring game so far. Helsinki, if you've just joined us, are playing in the white. Crime City are playing in the purple. And an official timeout for some track repair, I think, is being called there.
Yeah, I mean, so far this first period, what we've seen is Helsinki. I think they're pretty standing at about 70-75% of the lead control, and that's allowed them just to keep picking up, like, you know, it's been 3- and 4-point jams. I think, you know, we've had a couple of jams where there's been 8 points scored. In fact, we had one jam, each team have scored 8 points. Everything else has been 2s and 3s. So we're talking little marginal gains here in terms of the score, but it's enough to creep ahead. And again, if you can get the momentum flow on your side, that can lead you into some of those bigger scoring jams.
And of course, we haven't had a power jam yet, have we?
Not yet, but this might be the one.
This might be the one.
But we've got Malu picks up leads. So as again, we're saying Helsinki still controlling that. Ebba Metz about third of a track behind Malu as Malu gets into the pack, gets bumped to the inside, calls off quick. Nothing on the board for Crime City, 2 for Helsinki.
That's taking Helsinki up to 35 points, just about kind of retaining that 2-to-1 points balance against Crime City.
It's that constant points denial that kind of, you know, as it keeps, although you're not racking up the great big, you know, crowd cheer moment, 20-odd point jams, you're still inching the score more and more in your favour. And every point you deny, every time you shut out the opposition, you drop their heads a little bit and you keep the momentum on your side, which hopefully makes it easier for you going forward. And going forward, we've got Nina for Helsinki and Reggae. Reggae at the front at the moment, behind a braced Helsinki 3. Nina has got 4 at the back. Now we've got, that is Dijkstorter goes up on the offense to try and get Reggae through.
Oh, nice hit from below me. Taking Nina to the inside and stopping that lead getting through. And Nina is now clear of the pack and picks up lead jammer status for Helsinki. Oh, that was close. There was some really good blocking there from the Crime defense, holding Nina back for quite some time.
Crime now, though, only 2 blockers on track as Nina comes in for his the scoring trip and calls off the jam. And now we're going to be starting Crime City with one blocker on track as there's a multiplayer call right at the end of the jam. So 2 sitting, 1 standing.
Ooh. So who do you put on when you've got one blocker to beat on track? You put on Varpu Knutela is who you put on.
And it's Nasty that has the job of trying to stop Knutela. +4.
And Varpu is clear of the pack, crossing that S1 pivot line, coming around on a first scoring pass as Vanilla Slice is held at the back of that Helsinki pack. Of course, the penalty box starting to empty now. Those blockers coming back on track for Crime City, trying to make a hole through. And here we have our first power jam of the game. That's pretty good going. It's jam 16. We've had 16 minutes of play before we had a jammer in the box. So we're also going to have our first 2-minute jam.
And this also means that Crime City, you've got a chance now to get into the flow of this game, get some points on the board. And there's already 4 points going up for them, which is more than they've scored in the last kind of 10 jams or so.
Well, with only 2 blockers on the track now for Helsinki at the moment, that is just the opportunity Vanilla Slice needs to rack up those points and narrow that lead.
Power jam comes to an end as Knutela gets into the pack. But Vanilla Slice is already in there behind.
So 3 full scoring passes for Vanilla Slice so far, and 1 scoring pass for Varpu and Helsinki.
Then there's a chance that Crime City can double their entire score for the game so far in this jam, and I think they've just done that.
I do believe they have. There's 20 points and counting for Vanilla Slice. And that's just what we were saying, wasn't it? So one power jam, one decent jam can blow the score wide open.
And it's the danger of playing the small points tactical game is all it takes is one mistake on your behalf and you get like that 20-point jam. What's that, 22-point jam, I think?
24-point jam, 23-point jam.
And you're back to a 7-point game.
Yeah.
40 plays 47. Still got 12 minutes though of this first period, so we'll see if this changes the flow of the game in favour of Crime City. Now Helsinki have all gone back to the bench and we do get a team timeout signalled.
So that's a very good time to take a team timeout, I think, when you've just had a massive jam, giving Crime City some momentum to get behind.
And we'll give a shout out to our crew sponsor for the weekend, which is Rydell Skates, advancing the sport of skating for 70 years. No matter your rink choice, Rydell has figure skates and roller skates you will love. Check them out at www.rydellskates.com. But I think it's a sensible time as well for Helsinki to take a timeout after that power jam, just to basically, again, you want to try and change, you want to control the flow of the game here, and after that big power jam, Crime City are going to be on a high. You want to give them an extra minute to basically for that adrenaline to drop a bit. So I think it's a well-timed timeout by Helsinki here, as well as obviously resetting your own team. It's more about what it's doing to the momentum and the flow of the other team, where they're currently at. And that extra minute might just be enough for the adrenaline to settle and put it back level with you again.
So up on the S1 jam line right now, we have Hannah Pei for Crime City up against Speedy for Helsinki.
Hannah Pei made the first moves, but knocked to the outside.
Thought Hannah Pei had a clear line through just then, but no, they were recycled and brought back into the middle of that pack.
Speedy being taken all the way back also. Back.
Tripod at the back for Crime proving quite effective. And it's taken us 36 seconds to get a lead jammer in this game, and the lead is Hannah Pei. Hannah coming around on a scoring pass. Speedy still in the pack with star in hand, waiting to see now whether Helsinki do a handoff of that star or whether Speedy will continue to try and get around that tripod. I don't know what they said during that team timeout, but Crime City are definitely building a little bit of momentum. Hanape clear of the pack, picks up 4 points and calls that jam. So a bit of penalty trouble coming up here for Helsinki. We have 2 seated in the penalty box. So the pivot has been sent back on to track.
So yeah, Komiya is going to be cued. So again, that's going to just be something you've got to think about in this next jam, that at some point, well, in 20 seconds time, Komiya is going to be sent to the penalty box. So we're going to have at least 10 seconds, probably in reality, nearly 20 seconds of one blocker on the track for Helsinki.
And that's Fanilla Slice, who was the jammer who came out with that massive jam, the power jam for Crime City. But it is Malou who picks up lead jammer status for Helsinki.
So we're going to see Komiya getting sent to the penalty box anytime soon, now that the seats are available. But we are going to get, I think, the box emptying before that happens.
Oh, and a sweet pass up the inside of that line. Takes the points and calls the jam. We have a very close game going on here. Was it a lead change? No, 4-4. We've got 4-4, so a net gain of 0. Still a 3-point game. Helsinki holding on. They've had lead throughout this game so far, but their lead has come down to 3 points.
And Crime City, I think, yeah, as you say, that power jam's done a lot for their spirit, and they look like they've changed the speed of the game, and now they're starting to change the tactical control with them picking up the lead again now with Ebba Metz in control.
And that's there's Nina with the star for Helsinki, who's not managed to make it past that pack. And the pack is actually moving backwards at the moment. Ebba Metz on a second scoring pass currently. And we've had a star pass.
So Komiya came straight out of the penalty box, picked up the star from Nina. However, Ebba Metz is already in on another scoring pass, calls off the jam.
And we have had a lead change. So 8 points going up in that jam for Crime City, holding 10 points, I beg your pardon. 10 points going up on that jam for Crime City, holding Helsinki to 0 points. So we have a 7-point lead.
So Komiya taken 2 star passes so far for Helsinki. And that one was such a slick pass. Komiya comes straight from the box to pick that star out. But now we're back in reggae for Crime City against Malou.
I'll tell you how slick that star pass was. I didn't see it. That's how slick it was. It was sweet. And reggae clear off the pack first. Picks up lead jamming status for Crime City.
And we've got a back block. So I think this might be a power jam. It is. It's a back block penalty picked up by Malou. So now Crime City with another power jam and another opportunity. Now they can push the score out. Given the opportunity here, Di Mauro with some great offensive blocking, just opening up some gaps. Reggae back into the pack now, has 2 to beat and is through for another scoring pass. 10 seconds remaining on the penalty for Malou.
Reggae coming around again for a third scoring pass as Malou is released from the penalty box.
Now I believe Malou went to the box on the initial pass, has the star off and was looking for the star pass, but I think Malou's going to go it alone here. Has a brace 3 of Crime City blockers at the front, rolling around, just containing, but Malou now able to get through. And the Crime City bench, Dr. Steve will just calls for the call off there. Another decent pickup by Crime City, 11 points picked up in the jam, 69 plays, 51 now. So the tide very much turned in favour of Crime City now, that they've got control of the game. So the last few jams, you know, they've picked up lead. They've had those power jams. So I think, you know, they're very much now in control of this period, where we saw Helsinki doing that in the first half of this period. It's only been one period. We've still got 6 minutes left.
Hanape pushing that Helsinki defence further and further forward, forcing them to spread out. And finally, they have to release Hana. Lead jammer is called in favour of Crime City, and Hana is coming around on a first scoring pass. So we've had another star pass to Speedy. No, Komia. It was Speedy. Star pass to Komia. Hanape calls that jam before Komia has a chance to rack up any points. So I think one of the things that we've seen is that perhaps it took a few jams or a few minutes at least for Crime City's blockers to kind of really come together, but now they're proving very, very hard to beat.
Yeah, in those opening kind of 5 or 6 jams, Helsinki had no trouble getting through. Now it seems like the blockers have changed something up, and they're holding jams like Malou in place for 20, 30 seconds if they can. And now we've got Vapu Knutila, who is through, picks up the lead for Helsinki against Vanilla Slice. So Knutila going to try now and shift that momentum back to Helsinki now that they've got control of the jam.
We've got pivot Ruotsalainen, the linchpin in the Helsinki defence at the moment, going on jam after jam, racking up the track time, trying to shut down the Crime City jammers. And a really good defensive game by Helsinki in this jam.
Parley picking up the direction of gameplay penalty. Knutila calling off the jam. 4-point pickup. So 72 plays 55, got 4 minutes left of this first half.
So it's a 17-point separating the two teams at this moment in time. And we have had a couple of jams that were over 20, haven't we? So
yeah, so 23 points was the big power jam that we had.
That's, I think, the
from
biggest
Crime
one today.
City. So, I mean, yeah, Helsinki, you've been informed here, have been held at 8 points in the last 6 jams by Crime City.
So let's see if Nina can take any of those back. We've got Ebba Metz with the jammer star for Crime City getting out first and picking up lead jammer status. And we've had another slick star pass. And for once, it's not Ruotsalainen with the pivot line, it's Komia.
And another star pass to Komia, which I think is like number 4 so far. So doing great in that pivot role of taking those star passes.
So 3 minutes left in this first period. We've had Crime City rack up another 4 points in that last jam, so that's taken their score to 76. Helsinki Roller Derby on 55. 21 points separating the two teams at the moment. And we're going to get another jam at least, probably 2 in before the half.
And it's going to be Malou and I think Reggae for Crime City. Malou obviously in the white for Helsinki. 3-on-3 in the pack, so slightly diminished blocker numbers, and it is Reggae that's through on the inside, takes advantage of those 3. Malou star off already, and it is Ruotsalainen that's ready for that, but Ruotsalainen is busy dealing with Reggae, who gets through to complete that scoring trip. And this is what we were just saying about the fact that Crime City have switched something up now, where they're holding jammers like Malou in place for 40 seconds. So Malou only just now breaking out of that initial pass. And Reggae able to call off the jam. Just going to see how much was picked up in that last scoring trip. Already had 4 in hand from the first trip. So it looks like it's going to be 7 points in total for that one there for Reggae. 83 plays 55, 1.5 minutes left on the clock. Hanape for Crime City against Speedy for Helsinki. Hanape makes the first move. Speedy now up the front, has a couple to beat. Querica coming up, trying to go and help on the offense.
Hanape is clear and coming around for first scoring pass. Speedy still dealing with that wall. Hannah taking a knock to the outside there by Polytrauma, having to reset. So still that first scoring pass to complete for Hanape, but Speedy is still stuck in the middle of that pack and has no sight of daylight at the moment.
Star pass currently not an option for Speedy. And it is, I think it's Komiya that's in the box, and Komiya we know is the star pass specialist in this period so far. So we might see something here as Komiya is released. Speedy's going to look for the handoff, and the handoff is completed.
And at that, Hanape calls the jam.
And we're going to go to an official review called by Crime City.
This might just be the... I don't know if they're going to officially review anything or if they're just looking to take it as a timeout to make sure that we get one more jam in before half-time, with only 10 seconds left on the period clock.
We're getting everyone in, so it looks like it's going to be an official review. Normally, the benches will signal if they're going to use an official review as a timeout. I know certainly that was one of the things I used to request of bench coaches when I was refereeing, was asking them if you're going to do that, just for the sake of, saving everyone walking in the middle. If it's just for a timeout, let's signal it as such. But this should, this will give us another jam in the end of this period. So Crime City are looking for a direction of gameplay call on Fuchs in that last jam. So this may just be one of those, you've got 10 seconds left on the clock, you might as well look for something.
Yeah.
And you never know. If this goes your way, you've got the extra jam, and you've got the blocker advantage. And there's already 2 Helsinki blockers sitting in the box. So this would give you 2 plus 1 queued. So we'll get the result of this in just a second, hopefully.
So this period has been a period of 2 halves, never mind this game being a game of 2 halves. Helsinki with an early lead, nickel and diming, putting up 2 points here, 3 points there, followed by a couple of massive jams from Crime City taking back control of the half, have surpassed Helsinki and are now sitting on a fairly comfortable lead.
So in that official review, the no call on track stands. So Helsinki still got 2 in the box as we're back with Vanilla Slice able to pick up lead. So essentially, since that big jam in Jam 16, the 23-point jam, Helsinki have only had lead twice and only put up 8 points, whereas Crime City 7 leads, 43 points, and that's the swing of the game.
And it has been a big swing.
And now again, Vanilla Slice in control of the jam again. So Crime City gonna have the opportunity here to dictate this jam. And another power jam in favour here of Crime City as we get a cut track called on Knutela. And that's going to be taken after the half-time interval, as Knutela hasn't made it the box as the whistles go. But we are going to get an official review, though. So Helsinki are going to elect to use their official review here. I'm guessing they're going to try and challenge that cut on Knutela. It's certainly what I would do as a bench at this point. You might as well use it. You're going to lose it anyway.
Exactly. So if you've got something that's going to be a serious disadvantage to you, then you may as well, as you say, call it, because you've got nothing else to do. Like the period clock has run out. You're going to otherwise be going straight into the second period with your jammer in the box.
But yeah, 99 plays 55. What a turnaround for Crime City, though. The 10 jams since that power jam have been huge for Crime City. It hasn't helped. There's been 3 jammer penalties for Helsinki. well, this one being the third. Crime City, have managed to have a clean sheet for jammer penalties in this first period.
Okay, so thank you very much for your attention so far. I'm just going to hand you over to Comic, who is going to bring you an interview with Paris and Toulouse.
No, yeah, and we're on. So we've got Lux from Paris, Missy Hammer, and Trash Panda from Toulouse. We're going to do this interview in French because on a eu du coup, voilà, deux équipes françaises. C'est assez étonnant sur un tournoi européen et en Grande-Bretagne. Déjà, je vais vous demander qu'est-ce que vous retiendrez de ce match?
La première mi-temps pour nous, clairement. On est très fiers de notre jeu, de manière générale. On est hyper contents et contentes de ce qu'on fait depuis le début de cette saison. On essaye de up notre stratégie. On sait qu'on a des choses à travailler. Ce match nous le prouve et c'est super. En revanche, on a d'autres objectifs pour la saison et on va capitaliser sur cet événement.
Super, merci Lux. Et de votre côté?
Merci Lux. Franchement, moi je voulais vous féliciter parce que c'est vrai que vous faites une super belle saison aussi avec les PRD là. Le match il a été difficile aussi pour nous à démarrer. On a mis vachement de temps avant de se mettre en place et réussir à contrer vos départs, vos attaques, etc. Bon, après une fois qu'on a commencé à être en place là, on a réussi à redérouler le jeu de la Nothing Toulouse quoi. Mais c'est vrai que au début, on s'est un peu senti bousculé. On s'est dit, waouh, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Mais bon, on s'est reprise et voilà. Et, le line-up aussi a fait que on a réussi à reposer le jeu, quoi.
Est-ce qu'il y a un coéquipier, une coéquipière à qui vous voudriez particulièrement, que vous voudriez remercier ou dont vous voudriez particulièrement parler par rapport à ce match?
Alors oui, on aimerait dire un très très gros coucou à la chute, notre bloqueuse qui n'a malheureusement pas pu nous accompagner ce week-end et à qui on pense très très fort et qui devait être là avec nous sur ces matchs. Donc voilà Chuchu, on t'aime et ça aurait été, on a senti ton esprit avec nous et c'est ce qui nous a aidé aussi à remonter contre cette super première mi-temps de Paris.
De mon côté, je pense qu'on va penser surtout à Gypsy et La Moche qui nous rejoignent dans ce collectif cette saison. Elles se sont hyper bien intégrées. De manière générale, on est un collectif hyper bienveillant, on se tire vers le haut. On essaye d'être très positif et très positive. Et elles font leur taf super bien, quoi. Donc voilà.
Super. Et qu'est-ce que vous attendez encore de ce week-end? Qu'est-ce qui vous rend le plus impatiente de voir ou d'expérimenter?
J'espère juste que Missy voulait pas dire l'after party, mais on a vraiment hâte de faire les prochains matchs. On est très très excités de jouer contre Manchester, ça va être incroyable. Et on va essayer de faire mieux que notre précédente rencontre et on va essayer de tout montrer pour mettre en place le jeu de la Nothing, comme l'a dit Missy, et faire un super match et bien s'amuser.
Et toi Lux, côté match, est-ce qu'il y a un match en particulier?
Non, on va continuer à dérouler notre jeu, la stratégie qu'on met en place depuis le début de la saison, capitaliser sur tout ce qu'on sait faire et tout ce qu'on a envie de continuer à faire. Notre collectif, notre force, c'est vraiment de travailler ensemble.
Super. Un dernier mot, Missy ou...
Ouais. Je trouve ça génial qu'on ait deux équipes françaises sur un tournoi européen et ouais, le derby français est dans la place.
C'est un super mot de la fin. On vous retrouve pour la deuxième mi-temps de Crime City Rollers contre Helsinki Roller Derby dans quelques minutes. À bientôt.
Okay, well, welcome back, roller derby fans. We're about to get underway on the second half of this game. So, coming up to the end of the first period, we had an official review called by Crime Helsinki. That makes sense. Yes, they were requesting a low block penalty be issued to the Crime Jammer. And the outcome of that official review was that the no call will stand.
Which means, of course, that we do start this next jam with Knutela in the penalty box for, I believe it was, in fact, I'm just going to double check this before I make things up. It was a cut track. I believe, was the penalty. So obviously, talking about jammer penalties, the big one for that first jam was 3 power jams for Crime that really got this into them. Crime City, no jammer penalties at all in that first period, which is something I've not seen for a long time.
So Crime starting out with an advantage in the second period. So Vanilla Slice, who was the first jammer to really blow that score wide open. Vanilla scored almost half of Crime's points so far, and is racking up a few more, probably actually tipping them over that.
Yeah, 44 points in the first period for Vanilla Slice out of the 99 that Crime scored. And most of those points came, of course, after Jam 16. So it was about 10, 12 jams at the end there that Crime City really dominated and pushed those points on.
And they overturned the score completely. So at several points in the first period, Helsinki were 2 points to Crime City's 1, and now we have it exactly the other way around.
So Knutila there was released from the box, got through with star in hand, but the jam was called off. Crime City putting another 11 points on the board in that particular power jam. 110 plays 55. And for all you lovers of maths out there, that is exactly half.
Splendid. I do love it when a score comes together.
And when it's easy maths as well.
And when it's easy maths, yeah. That's always good. So we've got Malou with the star for Helsinki up against Reggae for Crime. Helsinki, if you're just joining us, are in the white. Crime are playing in purple.
Malou, very effective in the first part of the first period. Held up a lot by Crime City's blockers in the second half. And now Reggae with lead for Crime City. Malou just once again just being held up behind Lightlin.
So the Helsinki wall pulling together there and making it quite difficult for Reggae to get through on that first scoring pass. In fact, Malou had hit the back of the pack by the time any points were racked up. So 3 points on that pass for Crime City, not a full scoring pass. Helsinki obviously coming out determined to stop the bleeding.
But now Crime, though, have got 2 blockers sitting. Dykestalker picking up an out-of-play penalty for just carrying on in that block a bit too long when Malou was going through. So Crime now have 2 against 4. Once again, everyone huddled on the S1 jam line. Nina for Helsinki. Great work there to pass Nasty. Picks up a lead. Vanilla Slice now being held in the pack. Star off.
Nina already hitting the back of that pack for a first scoring pass. Pack is very tightly bunched together. Almost as difficult to get around the Helsinki blockers that are converging upon the Crime jammer.
Penalty box clear, so Crime City now have Dykestalker back on to try and help Vanilla Slice get through that initial pass. So Vanilla Slice through now, but Nina also completes a scoring trip. It looks like, I was going to say, it looks like Nina was going to let this jam run, but calls it off, allowing Vanilla to get through and pick up, I think that's 4.
Yeah, it looks like 4. So a net 0 gain on that jam.
Now we're going to go back to Knutila for Helsinki against Ebba Metz for Crime City. Helsinki 1 blocker down at the moment.
Helsinki managing to break through that pack first of Varpu Knutila, picking up lead jammer for Helsinki. And we've had a star pass from Crime City.
That Nasty now picks up the jamming duties.
I'll tell you, Crime aren't wasting any time. When their jammer doesn't get through first, they're passing that star straight away. There's no hanging around waiting to see what happens next, to see whether they can hold the jammer. It's just, boom, star's gone, on you go.
As I say, some of the slickest and quickest star passes I've seen so far, you know, in these games. Helsinki, it's obviously their go-to. They must have drilled it and used it that much that it's lightning when they decide that they're going to pass that star. And as I say, it's generally as soon as lead goes, the star is off. I've said that Malou now. Still got there it goes, star off, looking for the pass, or at least looking for the stash.
Malou is clear of the pack on an initial pass as Hannah Pay comes around the inside line and calls that jam, picking up the points. Wait and see how many fingers go up in the air for that. 4 points.
Gets the full force. So it's Crime City now doing what Helsinki was doing in the start of the first period, going with the quick call-offs, picking up a few points here and there. But the score now, 121 plays 63 in favour of Crime City. Back to Nina for Helsinki against Vanilla Slice for Crime City. 2 blockers down though for Crime. Nasty goes straight into the face of Nina, but Nina able to get around, picks up a lead for Helsinki.
Crime's blockers now dropping back to play a little bit of offense, but they don't really have very much time because Nina is already at the back of that pack for a first scoring pass. And Nina managing to knock Nagin to the ground while negotiating that release. 4 points up on the board for Helsinki and coming around for another scoring pass.
You can see if there's anything picked up there for Crime City. Yep, there was. So it looks like 6 points picked up by Helsinki in the jam, 2 points by Crime City.
So Helsinki coming back into the game a little bit, but again, nickel and diming, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points in their jams. They've got a lot of ground to make up.
So Reggae against Knutela.
Crime City throwing everything into defense at the moment and leaving Reggae to deal with Helsinki blockers. But Reggae seems to manage that with no difficulty. Gets through first, picks up lead jammer status. But Varpu is also clear of the pack. Both jammers now eligible to score. Reggae clears it, takes the points and calls the jam.
So we're back to these short, quick, couple of point pick-up jams. Helsinki obviously got a bit of ground to make up, but you know, we're still 22 minutes and some change left in the game, and we saw how much the last 10 jams of the previous half swung the game massively for Crime City. So Helsinki will be looking to do the same thing for themselves, with Ebba Metz for Crime City now jamming against Malou for Helsinki. Both jammers mired in the middle of that tight pack, just rolling into the turn one.
Ebba Metz going for the outside line, but running into that Helsinki defense. All 4 blockers for Helsinki playing defense at the moment.
Vilda just trying to open up that Helsinki 4 at the front, now having to drop into the bridge. So unfortunately Ebba Metz is alone against that 3, which becomes a 4, but Ebba Metz finds her way through, picks up a lead for Crime City.
Jämina, Lukura and Ruotsalainen proving very difficult to get past, but Ebba Metz does get past, but now finds themselves back in the same position again with that Helsinki defense to get through. Jämina is the last line of defense with the pivot star for Helsinki, and I'm just wondering if the pivot needs to make themselves available for a star pass.
Yeah, Malou is just being swarmed by purple tops at the back of the pack. Can't make any headway. Now we're going to get some offense going back from Helsinki, and we get the star pass. That one to Jämina Lagora.
Jämina being hit to the outside and forced to reset back behind the Crime blockers. So this is one of the longest jams we've seen so far in this game. Ebba Metz has lead jammer status, could call the jam, but Helsinki have yet to complete an initial pass, so no pressure on Ebba to call that jam. 3 seconds left on the clock. And there go the whistles.
And Malou picks up a penalty as a blocker. But again, you know, that's Malou's one of the kind of, you know, it's more frequent in the rotation jammers for Helsinki. Now going to be playing another jam as a blocker.
And we've got Hanape up on the S1 jam line for Crime City, up against Speedy. No, Nina.
No, Nina.
Sorry.
Helsinki one blocker down at the moment, with Hanape making the first moves and breaks the pack on turn one, picking up the lead for Crime City. I should have said breaks clear of the pack, not breaks the pack. That's a different thing entirely. No pack call, so Hanape has to be released again out the front.
Komia, last line of defence at the front of that Helsinki pack, but unfortunately, as the pack was so far stretched. Oh, Hannah squeaks through on the inside line almost at half-mast, but manages to come through and calls a jam. All 4 points going up on the board for Crime. So Crime pulling far ahead of Helsinki now, making it a very much an uphill battle.
Yeah, Crime have put on like 16 points in the last 3 jams where they've held Helsinki scoreless. So again, they're just kind of dictating the flow of the game, making sure the points go in their favour.
And we did say at the beginning of the game that Crime City are missing one of their key players, Curly Hoare, who's on the bench today. And we were wondering how much of an impact is that going to make on the game? And the answer is not very much.
Yeah, they've still obviously got quite a strong lineup of replacements, and you know, when we've seen them being allowed to run, when they've seen them in control of the game, the Crime City Jammers, they've been allowed to, they've been given the space where they can just do their thing, and their blockers are able to wrap up the Helsinki Jammers. So we saw a few jams ago the way they held on to Malou and was draining and sapping the energy from Malou, and meanwhile I think it was Reggae was just able to carry on lapping, and I think that's what's broken this game this wide. 143 plays 69 now, as we're going to see. That is Speedy for Helsinki against Reggae for Crime City. It's Speedy that picks up the lead this time for Helsinki, so Helsinki now a chance to control the game for a little bit.
And Reggae is close behind, so Speedy calls the jam.
Speedy was speedy on that one, picks up the 1 point and calls the jam.
So Crime still with one blocker in the box, and it is their pivot.
So 17 minutes or so left in the game. 72 points the difference between the two. So this half, Crime City put on 41 points. Helsinki have only put on 15. So they need to obviously start upping that, you know, how many points are scoring the jam. Maybe try and run the jams a bit longer than just trying to pick up 2 and 3, because all you're doing there is running the clock really. At this stage in the game, I think you've got to start trying to run the jams a bit longer. Try and keep controls. They have got control now. Nina with lead. Ebermetz still in the pack.
Nina approaching for a first scoring pass.
I think Ebermetz was looking for the star pass to Nasty, but Nasty went back just to try and catch Nina.
Nasty, incidentally, doing a very good job of catching Nina. He's very firmly stuck on Nasty's butt at the moment.
Ebermetz manages to avoid the block from Ruotsalainen to get through and complete the initial. Helsinki getting the signal to call, but again, only a 2 point pickup.
Yeah, we had Ruotsalainen and Predator dropping back as soon as the Crime Jammer got through, dropped back to play offense to try and get Nina out, but the jam was called. 2 points up on the board, so Helsinki currently still sitting at around about half of the points for Crime City. That's Varpu Knuttila with the star for Helsinki up against Hanape for Crime. So 15 minutes of this half left to play, and Crime City Rollers have a convincing lead at the moment over Helsinki, and Hanape picks up lead jammer status for Crime. And we've had another star pass for Helsinki.
Helsinki, they were shed a couple of blockers there to the penalty box as the jam is called. Looks like a 4-point pickup for Crime City. Another shutout against Helsinki. And now Helsinki obviously facing the full 4.
So Helsinki have 2 team timeouts left to take, as do Crime City. And each team has their official review for the period.
So yeah, Helsinki in the last 7 jams have picked up 3 points. I think they're going to have to, if they do get control, they're going to have to start running the jams longer and trying to get some bigger scoring jams, because they've only got 14 minutes left in this game now. If they want to try and bridge that score a bit, they can't be doing it 1 and 2s. They've got to at least try and, you know, make the most of the time they've got on the track.
I think if I was Helsinki, I'd be looking at maybe calling a team timeout and trying to get the team together, try and put a dent in Crime City's momentum, because that momentum is building now.
Yeah, Vanilla Slice is doing what you did all the way through the end of the second period. It's just racking up the points now. There's already another 16. I think Vanilla Slice has been one of the highest scoring jammers of the game, if not the highest scoring jammer of the game so far.
In fact, I think probably Vanilla Slice is the highest scoring jammer of the day so far. I don't have facts to back that up.
We'll say it is now.
That's my opinion. I'm just going to state it forcefully without anything to back it up. And it looks like Helsinki have lost somebody to penalties.
I think we've got someone on 6.
We've got someone on 6, okay.
Yeah, it is Palais is currently on 6 penalties. We've also got Fuchs on 5 currently. 24-point jam that was for Vanilla Slice's biggest jam of the game.
That was massive for Crime City. It's going to make it very, very difficult for Helsinki to pull some of these points back. But up next on the jam line for Helsinki, we've got Nina. That's not correct, is it? Oh, it is.
Yeah, Nina, and we've got Reggae, but it's Reggae picks up lead.
Dijkstalker running to the front of the pack to brace that wall. Reggae on a first scoring pass gets all the way around the outside of that pack.
So again, we're saying that Crime City, all 4 blockers containing Nina as jammer. Reggae just being allowed to just, you know, go at it with no offense.
And we've had a timeout called.
I think we've gone to an official timeout. I think we've got a player down on the track at the moment.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, 11.5 minutes-ish. 11:39 if you want to be exact, which we should be. Left in the game. Crime City sitting on 179, playing 73 for Helsinki.
It's been an interesting game and a bruising game for both teams, I think. The defense has been quite intense.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it earlier, that Crime City seemed to have, there was a switch point in the game where their blockers seemed to figure out Helsinki, and they've just been able to trap and control the jammers. And Helsinki, when they've been in control of the game, they've been going, what they did, the tactics they did at the start of the game, which is short 2-3 point jams, they're going back to that. And it's not really bridging the gap, because again, all you need there is, like we saw, 24-point jam. Now, obviously, you can't really do much if Crime City aren't if their jammers aren't committing fouls, so you're not getting the power jam opportunities. But you've got to try and force those situations. You've got to try and force their jammers to make the cuts, force them into situations where they are going to try and take the risk to get around someone that you might get a chance of a power jam. But going for these little 2 and 3 point fast jams when you're burning 30 seconds in your initial passes is just going to run the clock down against yourself.
Yeah, and I think what Helsinki need most is time, but time to get a few bigger jams under their belt. So the down skater is now up, thankfully, and moving away under their own steam. It's always good to see. So a 2.5 minute official timeout there. Perhaps this will put a little bit of a dent in Crime City's momentum. It might be a little bit to Helsinki's advantage, even though it was a Helsinki skater who was injured, unfortunately.
Well, Helsinki currently, I think it's Comia that's in the penalty box right now, so they're slight pack disadvantage 4-on-3 in favour of Crime City. And again, we've gone for that huddle on the S1 jam line with Hannah Pay for Crime and Varpu Knutila. Now, it looks like Hannah Pay has been awarded lead, yes. So Hannah Pay has been awarded lead.
But has been sucked back into that pack. And Varpu Knutila, the one blocker that's in the penalty box for Helsinki is the pivot. So there's no opportunity to pass the star at the moment, although Varpu is standing. Oh, and we have a cut track being called on the Crime City jammer.
So this is the first power jam opportunity that Helsinki have had in the game as Hannah Pay goes to the penalty box. So Varpu Knutila now got a chance to try and get some points on the board. Now, we've seen some big power jams in this game, and that's what swung the game for Crime City. These big power jams, the 20-point, 24-point power jams that we've seen. So let's see if Knutila has a chance to do something similar.
Some nice work there from Comia, playing offence to get Varpu through that pack on the first scoring pass. Hanape is out of the penalty box and back on track, but this will be a 2-minute jam. So 2 scoring passes under the belt for Helsinki for Varpu, while Hannah was in that penalty box. But
yeah, Yorkie was just trying to do some offense there, but Varpu's been dropped to the back of the pack again, and again, once again, been swarmed by those purple tops. Now being taken all the way back to the jam line. Both jammers stuck in the pack at the moment.
And Varpu is through. Oh, no, Varpu is not through. Varpu picks up a cut track penalty. So the jam will end with a power jam in favour of Crime.
But Helsinki did manage to get 12 points up there.
So that was a big jam for Helsinki. I think Hannah hadn't completed a full pass before going to the penalty box, because they were reset back behind.
It was one of those ones where lead was awarded. They hadn't broke the engagement zone, but they got sucked back. And then obviously they committed that cut in that initial trip still.
And Vanilla Slice of massive jam fame is back on track with lead jammer status for Crime City. Vanilla having put up quite a significant proportion of the Crime City points this game. And that's a first scoring pass completed. So 4 points going up on the board. Varpu is stood in the penalty box, so about to be released back onto the track as Vanilla Slice completes the second scoring pass.
Yeah, Helsinki having the uphill struggle there of doing the penalty kill with minus a blocker. However, everyone back to track now, so the aim should be to try and get Knutila through. However, Vanilla Slice making, I'm not gonna say easy work, making it look easy of getting through that pack.
That's Speedy in the Helsinki pack with the pivot. Just wondering, and there it goes. There's the star pass. Speedy takes the star from Varpu.
It looks like the pass was incomplete.
Right, so the star has been handed back to Varpu Knutila.
So it looks like Speedy picked up a penalty just before the star pass occurred.
Right.
So it wasn't therefore
It wasn't a jammer penalty.
yeah, illegal star pass.
Right.
So therefore has to go back to Varpu.
I'm sure Varpu Knutila is unimpressed with that as a result. Oh, that was a massive jam for Crime City. 24 points going up on the board. And we now have Helsinki with 2 blockers on 6 penalties. But we still have 7 minutes left in the game, so that's not insignificant. I hate a double negative, but it's not insignificant.
It's especially considering it's Speedy and Pali are the 2 blockers, and they've been 2 of the stronger or more, like active blockers for Helsinki in the game.
So Malu is still struggling to get through that pack, while Reggae is clear and picks up lead jammer status for Crime. Helsinki with only 2 blockers on track means that Reggae is able to clear that pack quite easily and pick up a full scoring pass, but Malu is also clear.
Of course, with Speedy being in the box as well, Malu had no star pass option.
Nice hit to the outside there by Ruotsalainen. Takes Reggae out of action there and forces that call off. 4 points to Crime City on that pass. Holding Helsinki to 0 again. And we've got Nina with the star for Helsinki. And I can't see who's on the line for Crime. It's Hanape. Pack is being spread apart now. Helsinki having to commit a blocker to bridging, meaning that their blockers are getting strung further out at the top of the pack. It's only going to be a matter of time if Hanape can keep pushing against that wall with only the 1 blocker to beat, and that's Querica. Has to let Hanape go. Hana is your lead jammer, but it took nearly 30 seconds for Hanape to get through that pack. Nina still stuck at the back of the Crime wall.
Nina just been recycled again all the way back to the jam line. Hanape now starts another scoring trip. Cormier committing to the front to trying to block Hanape, but now is able to go back and pick up the star. And Hanape sees this and calls off the jam. Another 4 points, pick up to 8 points in the jam for Crime City. Yet another 0 on the board for Helsinki. 217 plays 85 now.
So we're well into the last 5 minutes of this game, and it looks as though Crime City will be the team that's going forward into the next round.
So Helsinki, they've only had 12 points in the last 5 jams, and that was in 1 jam. So now let's see if Speedy can get out the front and get that lead. Gets sucked back into the pack though now. Ebba Metz is now forcing the issue at the front. Has all 4 Helsinki blockers. Looks like we've got a direction of gameplay issued. Oh, and a multiplayer to Ebba Metz.
Oh, interesting. I didn't see the block that caused that because I was busy trying to see whether that was a genuine star pass going to Yamina Lukura or whether it was a fake out from Speedy.
So Speedy still in control of the star and on the power jam, but Crime City doing well with the penalty kill. Di Mauer was running back, speedy there.
Sorry? Oh, I see. So Speedy has been awarded lead. Abamet's clear of the penalty box, back up on track and completes a scoring pass. No, an initial pass, I beg your pardon. No, it was a scoring pass. There's 4 points going up on the board for Speedy. Oh, this is confusing. Official review being called by Crime City. 2 minutes and a half left on the period clock, so it's as good a time as any to call an official review. And we're just waiting to see what the official review is officially reviewing. And when we hear what the review is, we'll officially tell you about the official review.
But right now, I'll tell you about S1. Best fit plus best protection equals the S1 Lifer helmet. Get a lifer, be a lifer. www.shop.s1helmets.com. S1, of course, sponsoring our jam and pivot lines on the track this weekend. And we'll wait for our communication system to kick in and tell us what this official review is regarding.
And our track today is sponsored by Sovereign Transport Services, delivering goods throughout the UK and Europe. Warehouse and storage facilities are available at their Liverpool depot. Go to sovereigntransport.com. So the winner of this game goes on to play the winner of game 1, which was London versus Dock City. So it looks as though it's going to be Crime City. I can't obviously call it yet, but with the point spread that we have, 142 points separating the two teams, I've never seen a comeback of that proportion.
So the official review, Crime City were basically saying there should be an illegal call-off award at the Helsinki Jammer because they'd actually removed the star, then put it back on and were awarded a lead. However, because they were awarded lead and were being pointed lead by the official, that means it's not an illegal call-off because they had every right to think they were allowed to call off, so the no call does stand.
It's Malou with the star for Helsinki, picking up a penalty.
So Vanilla Slice with the power jam. Vanilla Slice, of course, the jammer in this game that you don't really want to give a power jam to, especially when you've only got 2 blockers currently on track at the moment. I think we've got a blocker hang out at the back of the track, just coming back on now. And one coming from the box now, but Vanilla Slice already through to pick up 4. And once again, Dijkstorp doing a great job of holding one of the Helsinki blockers at the back of the pack.
Malou is back on track with star in hand, so going to attempt a stealth pass, I think.
So Comia, who's already had 7 star passes so far in the game, potentially going to pick up another one, but Malou sees the gap and goes through alone.
So with 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the penalty, what am I talking about? 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the period clock. We're going to get one more jam in, possibly 2 if it goes really, really quickly.
And it looks like it's going to be Reggae and Nina.
Quite possibly the last jam of the game. So a full complement of blocker on track, but it is Reggae who gets through first. Picks up lead jammer status for Crime City.
Reggae has been so impressive in this game, being able to find those paths through on that, from the start line to pick up that quick lead, which has allowed the Crime blockers just to sit on the jammers.
Xard and Yamina Lugara going forward to try and hold Reggae back for as long as possible, but they do have to let Reggae go.
And Helsinki shed another couple of blockers to the penalty box. I think we saw Zard there pick up an illegal contact. So again, we've got the familiar situation. Crime outnumbering Helsinki on the track.
So the period clock has officially expired, and Reggae calls that. That's going to be the end of the game. So we're just waiting for those scores to be finalised, but there can be no doubt that the winners of Game 3 in this Euro Cup have got to be Crime City.
So that, I mean, we said earlier, you know, when we were talking about this thing, when they met last at Anarchy, I think we said the score was 263 to 111, but that was in favour of that was in favour of Crime City. So it's about the same kind of score differential in this one, but the game started off looking like Helsinki were going to very much run the game, but it was that one moment, that one turning point in that first period that's allowed Crime City to find their feet and start putting the big jams up, and that's been essentially what's held it for them. Obviously the fact they've only had one, I think we only saw one power jam that Helsinki had, and they couldn't make the most of that power jam, unfortunately. Whereas whenever Crime got the opportunity to get in and get scoring, you know, that they put, I think what we saw, a 24-point jam. In fact, it was Vanilla Slice put a 24-point jam after already leading the scoring in the first period. I think that's what's kind of really bust this score wide open for Crime.
So yeah, that's, I mean, I can't really top that. Can't really say anything other than that. That was the game in a nutshell. It was a very exciting game, I have to say. Like, Helsinki didn't roll over at any point. They didn't stop fighting. It didn't really feel like the score spread should have been quite as much as it was.
I think it was the first 16 jams where there was they'd pretty much only like been 20 points apiece, and it was only once Crime got into it and started pushing those bigger scores out and shutting out Helsinki for a bit that kind of the momentum shift happened. And then this second period, I mean, we can see a screen here that's got the blocker penalties on, and the fact that Helsinki finished 2 blockers on 6, 1 on 5, and quite a few of the others are on 4 and 3 penalties, and there's only a smattering of penalties across Crime City. And again, that's the kind of thing, we always say this, if you want to play a derby, you've got to be on the track to play a derby. It's hard to stop a jammer if you're sitting in the penalty box, and that's just unfortunately the story of this game for Helsinki, I think.
So Crime City are going to be going forward to play London in the semi-final, and that's going to be played tomorrow morning, I believe.
And next up we have another game which has completely escaped me. Wait, I get some information here from Over the Paintball. Paris Dock City, of course, is coming up next, which should be very, very soon. So stick around for that, and we will see you very soon for the next ones.